2020. What do I make of you? I shouldn't complain, but I probably will. 2020, I will say thank you for teaching me life lessons, accelerating my growth, pushing my boundaries, and making me love and appreciate all the small things in life that we take for granted. So per usual, the year started in Warpton, with so much hope and excitement for 2020 and the new decade ahead. But really, the year started with Laurie, already refreshing the news every minute, keeping an eye out for the fire warnings and watching the country burn. Yet also somehow skipping past articles about something happening in Wuhan, unaware of what was yet to come. Spent most of January trapped inside the house due to air quality from the fires. But it wouldn't be Melbourne without a drastic change in the weather, where all of a sudden there were crazy hailstorms and flash flooding everywhere. Australia Day, even though the fires were still burning directly behind the mountain of Bright, we decided to spend the weekend helping out the local businesses that had lost so much during what should have been a peak season for them. End of January and the COVID-19 articles were starting to appear a little higher than the fire articles, and we had our first official case in Australia. Took my first flight of the year up to sunny or not so sunny Queensland and thought people were totally overreacting at the airport about this COVID-19 thing. Saw a snake and witnessed some more flash flooding during summer. End of Feb, stayed in the city for Hamish's birthday, questioning our every move about this COVID-19 we knew little about. Labor Day weekend, spent chasing sunsets in Sydney, including watching the Ruby Princess sail off, not knowing the chaos it will cause and bring home. For some crazy reason, we decided to still go to Moomba despite the crowds, and finished the weekend off with a beautiful picnic day at Alfred Gardens, not knowing it would be our last. Panic buying started whilst watching the world shut down around us, and before we knew it, we were also in lockdown. It was mid-March and I thought the world had gone crazy when they cancelled Anzac Day plans a month out from the event, and then slowly but surely everything started getting cancelled. Our Miley Cyrus concert got cancelled, our trip to America got cancelled, our trip to Bright during Easter got cancelled. 2 months went by working from home, Netflix and chilling, getting creative, cooking and eating, and finally a slight ease of restrictions where we could chase the last of autumn and do a little travel close to home. This year the birthday luck did not continue. On my birthday, found out we were going into lockdown 2.0. Masks became mandatory. We had a curfew in place from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m, allowed out for an hour of the day, stuck in a 5-kilometre travel bubble, and only allowed to leave home for 4 reasons. What was initially meant to be a 4-week hard lockdown soon turned into a 111-day lockdown. A very, very long, hard lockdown. It's crazy how grateful I was for every time a restriction lifted. 3 months in, the curfew was lifted to 9 p.m, and then eventually it was scrapped, which meant I could actually get my hour of the day. And my favourite part of lockdown, to be honest, was 4 months in when the 5-kilometre radius was changed to 25 kilometres. It was still too far away to visit our families, but somehow we managed to visit a lot of places that we had never been to before so close to home. It made me realise we don't have to catch a flight or drive across the state to see the beauty of our own homeland. Restrictions finally eased in November and we were free to roam around our own state again. Spent our first few weekends of freedom finding locations in Victoria that we had never been to, and also finding locations that were still pure isolated, as well as getting back into sports after being trapped inside for so long. Our first weekend away was of course to Bright, where it truly looked like COVID had never happened. Got on the beers, as Dan may say, and once again kept our distance by going to places that no one else was. Christmas and the holiday season started to kick in. We watched Happiest Season 3 times the first week it was released, finally spotted a platypus after multiple attempts at a well-known spot, went on a long overdue trip to the zoo after the purchase of a new lens, and spent many nights watching sunset at Doggy Beach or Albert Park. Even though this year some of the main Christmas lights were cancelled due to the crowds, we still managed to find some great ones and some new favourites. Went to a Christmas light show at a theme park where once again it looked like COVID never existed. On the last week of 2020, our friend COVID had returned. After 61 consecutive days of no new cases or deaths, it was back. Despite all this, we were still very lucky and fortunate to be able to celebrate Christmas as well as New Year's. For New Year's Eve, thankfully, we were still able to go to Warpton and say goodbye to 2020 with zero expectations going into the new year. 2020, you made me grateful, you made me strong. You made me cry, and you made me love more than I ever knew I could. You made me mask up, you made me Uber Eats one too many times, you made me fat, and you somehow made me work out every day. You made me appreciate, you made me panic buy. You made me reflect, and you made me thankful for everything I had. 2020, you could have been worse.